Hi, everyone. I'm Anna, and welcome to today's message. Today's message is from 1 John 3:1. See what kind of love the Father has given us, that we should be called children of God, and so we are. The reason why the world does not know us is that it did not know Him. Life is defined by opportunity. And if you're not careful, well, you're going to miss the ones that God has for you simply because you don't understand love. Let me explain. Did you know that God will hold you back if you can't find self love? And when you choose other people who dull your shine, well, you can't find your love within. And God will hold you in your place to learn the lessons needed before you can move ahead. Because you can't show God's love for others unless you have it for yourself. Now, I was told once that time heals all wounds. And you've heard it before too. It's something that people say to make you feel better when you're struggling with pain. But that statement, it's a big lie. Time only gives you space to make choices, good or bad, about your decision to heal or remain stuck. It's God that heals all your wounds. The time is irrelevant. And that is the real truth. Now, I have some experience with this, and honestly, I didn't understand it until I went through it. And when you come into a relationship, the other person inadvertently shares energy with you and you with them. It's a big energy force. And before you go rolling your eyes, well, go look and see what science says about it. And it's easy to find the information. And, I'm not all completely about science. I'm a little of both. So it's not only a proven scientific fact, but also the Bible tells you in Colossians 3:23 to work heartily as for the Lord, ensuring your spiritual energy reflects your commitment to God's glory. So let me tell you something. When you spend your time with someone who has spiritual energy but isn't using it for the highest good, their choices reflect on you. It's a little like scientific osmosis. To avoid that, you need to have discernment while you become who you're meant to be. And sometimes this is a lesson for you to choose. You either choose the love that you are meant for and not accept unhealed love, or choosing not to choose those that have spiritual lessons to learn. Now, in this case, the lesson is that if you've healed and found complete love, then you deserve something better than someone who is not. And what you offer to others is a perfect reflection of who you are. And if someone else is not showing that to you, well, then your love becomes dulled simply by their lack of love for themselves. So let me explain it with an example from my own life. I met an unhealed person, and it was during the time that I had already begun my spiritual healing. And I wasn't healed on my part, but I was in the process of finding my own self-love. And the other person, well, they didn't make the same choice. And they were living in a life where they could not find the love they deserved to have because of their own reflection in the mirror, which they didn't like. And for them to find self-love, well, they would have had to access it in their own heart. And they weren't making the choice to do so. I would say they had a cold heart or a closed heart. And I came into their path while that cold heart was being thawed out. God brought me there to show them love. I know what my purpose was in their life. What I thought was progress on their part was just my own love growing and reflecting on them. And their progress was because they were beginning to feel self-love and they were beginning to shine through. But I was ahead of them in my own process. And we had lessons with each other, which is how it's done. And this is part of the crossroad that I speak so much about. It happens in a lot of situations. In this particular situation, it was a relationship. But when you come to this place in your life with any relationship, You have to decide, are you going to repeat again and remain stuck in life, or are you going to choose to grow? Well, in my case, it was a lesson for me that this person chose me. They thought I was less love than what I was mirroring back to them because they simply couldn't find their own. And of course, the relationship failed. Every relationship that starts this way will fail because that's how it works and that's how God created us. And in some ways, I look back at the time with him and I recognize that my life was in a holding pattern. And when I allowed them access to my love, all the love that I was showing them, well, I was still healing and I am continuing to heal because I chose to accept less love than what I was deserving of from that person. And my love, I catapulted forward and I forced this person to face themselves in the mirror. And they didn't make the same choice that I did. They chose differently. And I can't push them ahead. It's a personal choice to do that. But I did choose to set myself free by walking away when love wasn't being served. And they had to choose for themselves. We had both accumulated so much bad hurt and energy and love that had injured us that we were learning. And we just made different choices on our path. And it's no coincidence that God removed this person from my life because I had to move ahead. God had created the lesson for me because I chose to accept the only love that I thought I deserved. And I was evolving into a higher space. I was freed from their stalemate. And they've had to learn to face themselves for who they are and find their own self-love. I finally saw my self-worth, and that was the freedom that I needed to see where God was leading me. I was being led into alignment with God's purpose for me. And though I know this person was potentially meant to go with me on my journey, that was not what they chose. And I can't make them choose for themselves or to be their own best love. I can only choose what's best for me. And where they're headed, well, I can't go. And honestly, I don't want to because I've evolved and I have disconnected from them. And I'd already decided to be who I was meant to be in God's purpose. My journey of self-love was taking me to a different place. And they still need to make their journey. Despite not making the choice that I did, they still have to become their best self. And the time that we shared our energy and love, well, I'm not upset about it. It was an important lesson in my life. Now, you've been hearing about my spiritual healing journey for some time now and watching my progress in real time. And there's a purpose in that because I have the faith and love needed to share it with the world. I found my worth and I found my love. But this is a real life reminder that you reap what you sow. What you learn is what you put into the world, and what you give, you receive. The feeling of love that you've been given is a teacher in your life, and you can't learn if you're cold-hearted or close-hearted. You can't grow if you let love destroy you instead of rebuilding you. I evolved because I chose love and worthiness and the journey of self-love because I chose not to numb it any longer. I chose to accept my lesson. And I stopped choosing what I thought felt familiar because familiar, that's not love. It's unhealed pain. And I stopped expecting others to fill my heart and I chose God for that. I healed the parts that I called pain in love. I stopped needing to be rescued and I became a rescuer. And I found that all the love I needed was inside my own heart, where God resides. So the message today is that you deserve all the love that God has given you, all that he offers to you. Choose to heal and take the journey of self-love, acceptance, and God's unconditional love for you. Choose to be the love you deserve and not the lack of love that you think you deserve. Stop confusing pain with love. Stop choosing familiarity. Choose to rise above it. True godly love is the answer to an abundant and healed life, my friends, and I am living proof that that love is the answer. If this resonated with you, please like and share my post. And thank you for your donations to my divine mission and for helping me to keep my message alive. I'll see you next time.